as somebody just said in all caps, sequels are unfixable. I'd have to make the argument there. You're talking about your own specific, maybe in your own mind, you think that the sequels are not fixable. That's perfectly fine. I'm sure some people don't like the prequel trilogy, and even watching 7 seasons of the Clone Wars is not going to change their mind. But when I look at the sequel trilogy, I see its flaws. I definitely do. Some people think it's incredible, and that's perfectly fine. Good on them. But to me, I think Luke Skywalker's fall was too quick, his seclusion on Ahch-To was too quick, too not explained at all. In Palpatine's return, again, not explained at all. However, if you were to make a 7-season animated show or 4-season animated show of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple, seeing Ben Solo's fall to the dark side, seeing Snoke lure him to the dark side, the First Order rise to power, maybe Luke even marries Mara Jade and she dies due to Snoke or Kylo Ren or Palpatine or whomever, and then let's go even crazier. Let's say Luke Skywalker's blood is being taken by the First Order to create Snoke, or to create a Force-sensitive clone version of Luke Skywalker named Luke Skywalker, just like the Legends books tell it as well. Then he would go into hiding. He would go into hiding so that nobody can take his blood, nobody can use his power against him and against the galaxy. And it would make sense. Also, if he lost his wife, Mara Jade, that would also make sense. And seeing how he loses Ben Solo would mean so much more. It's like watching the original trilogy, hearing that Anakin Skywalker fell to the dark side, but not seeing how he did it, or why he did it. It's like watching The Phantom Menace, seeing the young boy as Anakin Skywalker, and then watching A New Hope and seeing him as Vader and going, what the hell happened to that kid? Where did we go wrong? And just never telling the story in between. So we get Luke in the original trilogy. He's this nice farm boy. He's the hero. And then in the sequel trilogy, he's not. And we just don't have the story in between. You tell the story in between, it can't hurt, and it might just help. And then there's the whole Palpatine of it all. Somehow Palpatine Returns needs to be explained a whole lot better. Yeah. But let's say afterwards, let's say you go to this Rey sequel trilogy. If you make the character of Rey a million times better just by the writing of her character in a sequel trilogy, then you just look at the original sequel trilogy as her origin story. She leaves Jakku, becomes the hero, finds out that she was Palpatine's granddaughter, kills Palpatine, and now her adventure starts. And now she goes and does these crazy things across the galaxy, trains the next Jedi Order. Like, there's ways around this. Finn, he's a stormtrooper. Now he could be a stormtrooper turned Jedi in a sequel trilogy. There's ways to fix these characters, or at least make them better, without even touching the sequel trilogy. So it's all up to people's own perspectives and own opinions on the sequel trilogy, on the characters of Rey, Finn, Poe, Kylo Ren, all that stuff. And obviously some people's minds just won't be able to be changed. That's clear. But for that portion of the fandom that is open to change, is open to seeing what the story can bring, then why not do it? Why not? I'm one of the people who, I'm not the biggest fan of the sequel trilogy. I like The Force Awakens. I'm not a fan. Really, I can watch The Last Jedi. I can watch The Rise of Skywalker. I'm not the biggest fan. However, I know if they tell this story right before and after this sequel trilogy and this Luke Skywalker Jedi Order with Kylo Ren's fall, I will be a fan of the sequel trilogy. I can already tell. If what goes on in my head happens on the screen, it can work. But that's just me. Again, that's just me. And you might be different. Okay. Where was I?